This is arguably the best deal I've seen on the internet for an incredibly long time. Not to mention I get to test Cobra's ultimate cheat stick, but the 2023 version, to see if they've made this thing even easier. Go on, sit soft. Slightly out the back at 220. Now, it's not often I get a club that I can recommend to a lot of people. Not only the fact you can buy it brand new, cheaper than probably what you could find it for second hand. Now, we're not specifically talking about the Aerojet model, but more its predecessors that you can buy brand new for extremely good value. However, I will show you the second-hand prices of what this is currently going for towards the end of the video. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that realistically, is there much change from year to year? And when there's a club that I can recommend you guys that should suit quite a lot of you for very good value, but not only that, if you don't like it, and I am wrong, you won't virtually lose any money because of it. So quickly, a few thank yous. One, to Replay Golf, obviously lending me the new Aerojet one length hybrid, which I haven't been able to try yet. And also James, who messaged me, which basically was the starting point of this whole video, where you can get one of these for £80, brand new. So for some of you guys that don't know what a one length hybrid is and why this club potentially might not be good for you going forward, it's essentially a hybrid that's the same length as a 7-iron. The point is that this is incredibly short, which has its downsides, which I'll explain. It's got a decent amount of loft at 21 degrees, and obviously you can get less lofted ones of these and more lofted ones of these. But the point is, it's kind of this middle ground for a lot of guys that just want 200 yards off the tee and have a decent amount of club head speed. That relatively big head, i.e. it's not going to twist or bend on off-center hits. That loft is going to help with the backspin, so if you do curve the ball a lot, then it's going to swamp that somewhat. And the shorter length in shaft means that it's easier to find the middle, potentially easier to square up that club face at the target. Don't get me wrong, this isn't the longest hybrid in the world. But the reason I constantly call it a cheat stick is because it's a perfect middle ground for a lot of those golfers that just want to find a fairway. However, let's talk about the downsides of one of these golf clubs, and if I actually think the Aerojet is any better than the other ones that I've tested in the past. If you're a player that's naturally quite steep and comes over the top, having a shorter length of shaft, i.e. getting closer to it, potentially is going to make that, well, somewhat worse. Now, if I compare this 5-wood to obviously the one-length hybrid, you can see how naturally more shallow my swing's going to be with a fairway wood. And it's not to say that's a be-all, end-all. If you were to have a one-length hybrid, you're going to come over the top. But just like we hit all of our wedges a lot more steep, a lot more down, which, let's be honest, that's what they're designed to do, spin more stopping power, versus a driver, where, let's be honest, I'm looking to come up on the golf ball. Well, then we have to understand length definitely plays a part in that factor. However, I don't have that problem. If anything, I don't hit down enough on my golf ball anyway. The other problem I don't have is club head speed. If I hit a regular length hybrid, like this TSI3 for example, I try and give it a similar smooth swing like I did with the one length, instantly I've almost gained 5 miles an hour in terms of club head speed, purely on length. Again, I'll do a similar hit with the one length hybrid. To be fair, that was a very much out the hill, that one. I didn't catch that at all. 96 miles an hour. And again, this is a 3 hybrid, this is a 4, even though they're quite similar in lofts anyway. But if you told me, Simon, I want you to hit the longest shot possible and I'm going to give you 10 balls, well, of course I'm going to use this one. If you said, Simon, I'm going to give you 10 shots and you have to find the fairway over 200 yards consistently, well, then I'm going to choose this one. The point is if you struggle for club head speed and potentially are quite steep and across the ball anyway, this club isn't necessarily for you. 70 miles an hour, very much across the ball. 151 yards total, opposed to a 5-wood, which, let's be honest, we could probably say would go 75 miles an hour in that golfer's hand because it is that much longer. Oh no, it was way too fast. Trying to hit this thing at 75 miles an hour out the middle. It's incredibly difficult for myself. 75.5, and it came out the middle. We got there. My point is, this is going to be fast for that golfer. They don't want consistency. They very rarely lose a ball at 75 miles an hour. They need the speed. They need the help. Not to mention, because of the head style, this is going to launch higher because the weight's further back. It's a 5-wood opposed to a hybrid. We could also assume they're not going to come over the top as much because obviously it's a longer shaft. They should be more shallow. But now we're getting 151 carry opposed to 151 total, 172 yards. That, to me, is one of the reasons why someone wouldn't get a 1-length hybrid. However, if you have a pretty neutral path and you're horrendous with your club face control, i.e. it's like that before the ball and like that after the ball, well, this is potentially your new best friend. Oh, we went after that one. We hit that one flush out the middle. Notice I've tried to absolutely kill it and only got the same amount of club head speed as I did when I used the Titleist. Now, before I show you the deals of where you can get this for, let's talk about the Aerojet and the prices. This currently secondhand, 140, 150 pounds, potentially more if you're looking for buy it now. However, I have seen auction listings of this go for like 120 pounds. I think there's 2 currently available on eBay for 120 pounds. And again, thank you to James for obviously bringing this to my attention. The Rad Speed version. Would I say this one's better and more advanced than the Rad Speed and LTDX? From memory, not really. The main features of it being that shorter with the loft and a stiff flex shaft, as easy as all the others. If anything, I don't want the ball to go further from this than the other ones because it would mean that the spin's dropped, which is ultimately the reason why I get so much control from it anyway. Jam Golf is the website that James forwarded to me. £80 for a Rad Speed 1-length, and the best bit is that's brand new. It's only in a stiff flex option from what I saw, which to be honest is the only kind of option I would choose for this kind of club, as I've explained, for the slower club head speed players. But if you look at the second-hand price of a 1-length Rad Speed hybrid, there's no difference. They're selling for 80, 90, 100 pounds. Even the LTDX I've seen online going for 99 pounds if you want the more up-to-date version. 1-length hybrid going for virtually the same amount of money. It just means, at least if you buy brand new, which is the only downside of my channel, is that you've got a warranty. If it breaks, face cracks, whatever, you can then send it back. And to be honest, if you look after it for 6 months to a year, and then you go, actually, I do want some more distance for my hybrid, I'm a lot more controlled with my shots, well, then you can sell it for virtually the same amount of money. For some of you guys that don't live local or close to the studio that I have here, I've opened up an app on Skillis, and I've been very excited to work with some of you talking about it. Don't feel like you have to buy a lesson, just talk to me through there. Maybe I can just give you some free advice. Or if you have any other questions, sasgolfacademy@gmail.com. Catch you in the next one.